Entre nous. So the opening chord is an A chord, and you're barring at the second fret. And then what you got to do is, bar the second fret, and then you're adding in a note on the fourth fret, and then a note on the fifth fret. So that should be a killer exercise for adding notes into chords. And so it sounds kind of like this. So you're going, and picking wise, I think I go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. But you can kind of find your own way through it. Like, a lot of guys will do all down for that type of shit. Because it gives it a certain precision, but I have a tendency to go down, up for that. Down, 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 up, down, up. So, I'm gonna put in down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and we'll go with that. But if you feel like you're more inclined to go down, 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 that's kind of, I don't know, maybe more conventional logic. So that's that. Anyway, so the next thing that happens is it moves up to B, and then you add your second finger on the fifth fret and your fourth finger on the seventh fret. So you get a pattern. It was in tune when I bought it. So then that repeats. You get two of those. And then it goes back to the original A pattern at the second fret. Really fun. I like this section a lot. And then it goes to the finish of the intro, which is on B, and the pattern changes to include, like it's a 4-string bar chord, and it includes the fourth fret of the high E. So it starts out the same, and then it goes to the first string there. So you get a sound like. So that's really beautiful little ending. I blew it. All right, and then it goes into the verse, which is full of just beautiful chords like A7 over G. So that's that same A voicing, but you're putting the seventh in the bass. Like usually an A7 is like that. It's got the 7 on the first string or the G, but what they're doing is sticking it in the bass. So a lot of times people call those, or all the time people call those inversions. You're taking a note from the top and putting it on the bottom. So yeah, the verse has some beautiful inversions in it. A7 over G, and then D over F sharp, which is played like that. It can also be played with the thumb in the style of Peter Townsend. But I notice Alex does it. He takes his fourth finger and puts it on the third fret, second finger on the second fret of the third string, and then the first finger does that. And you get this beautiful lush D over F sharp, or D/F sharp. And then it goes to E over G sharp. So it's like you're taking your third finger and putting it on a G sharp on the sixth string at the fourth fret, and then this finger goes on the second fret of the fourth string, and then the pinky goes on the fourth fret of the third string. And then you let the top two strings ring over top, so you get this nice sound. And if you notice, the side of this finger kind of mutes the A string. And that kind of just happens naturally. So, really nice chords. So, the verse is played like this, with and to get some different rhythms, he does a little rest in the middle. Like if you look at the score, I wrote a rest right there, and it's there every time. Though he is casual in his application of the rest, but I wrote lift, and I don't mean lift like elevator. It's you lift the chord to get a little rhythm, like you go. So he's got some lifts in there, but it's pretty simple. It's like, and then up down after it. Repeat. And then it goes to this little tail. A, plain old A, plain old D, plain old D. And sometimes for his D, he seems to use a D sus2 a lot in the song, which is where you lift off the swear finger off the second fret and just have an open ringing E string through it. So the whole verse gets repeated after that. Very satisfying ending. And then it heads into the chorus with this little walk up off of A. So it goes A, and then G over B, and then C. Then you go into a bar where you land the C chord and strum. And I should mention it's in 3/4, but I wouldn't think about it too much. It kind of just follows the lyric. You know what I mean? Just between us. So if you know the song and listen to it, it makes sense. But yeah, counting wise, this is 4/4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So it's like a bar of 3/4, bar of 3/4, then a bar of 2/4, and then back to 4/4. So maybe I'll put that in there, but don't let that freak you out, man. Okay, so the whole chorus goes like this. And then you go to G over B, which is just that. And then C to G over B. So this is the first line of the chorus. Second line of the the chorus is kind of the same, but it goes to D sus2, which is that D with the middle finger lifted off. Then it goes to a G. It should be a full G, like. So that line is. And then the next line is the same as the first line. And then the last line goes to an E minor, to a D sus2, then to a C add 2, which is like it's one of the old Wonderwall chords. It's like you know, if you know G like that, it's like you move these two fingers from the 6th and the 5th to the 5th and the 4th. You get this sound. Then there's a little walk down. So that little thing, that whole ending passage is leave for you and I to go. Very Canadian sounding. Okay, so here's the whole first chorus. Okay, so on to page 2. So page 2 kind of goes back to the original riff, but just the A, the part that stays on, that's on A, so you get. All right, and then you're into verse 3. So verse 3 has picking instead of strumming. So you're just, I think you can just go with all down. Woo! And then, okay, well, so I wrote out all that picking. It's not too hard to conceive of, but it does take a lot of focus. And I just wrote all down. But I should mention, he's not too precise about anything in the tune. It's kind of casual. Like, one thing you can do is leave out the last note to get to another chord. Like, instead of being. Now, to get to this chord is harder. So you can just kind of cheat and go like. Give yourself a little advantage. But I didn't write that in. But mainly it's just the feel, like. Then it just repeats the chorus again, which I won't bother playing again, but it's an exact repeat of the chorus. And then you get, the next thing is the intro, but it gets expanded upon. It moves from A to B, then up to C, D, and then it lands on an E. So yeah, so the C you're adding, it's the exact same beginning. It's parallel. And then D is the same as B. So that's interesting. Those are two parallel keys that the same pattern, you know, like if you notice. It's the same pattern, but it moves from A to B to C to D, and A, B, C, D. And then you get to this big E chord. So here they're just going into just a jam out section over E, E sus4. All right, I should mention Alex is doing the full E and then adding in the sus4, which is adding the pinky on the 10th fret. And I find that I don't really do that as much because I always feel like it's too many extra notes that you're not actually articulating. So I have a tendency to use just a power chord and that, and then just go like that, and then so if you notice, I'm just doing everything with the pinky. He's totally not doing that. He's going like and sometimes you can hear a little messy thing like where he goes like, so I kind of did a cleaned up, more playable version. So see that pinky's just doing all the work there. I recommend that. It makes it sound, it's easier to play and sounds kind of cleaner. So anyway, this section goes between E, power chord or bar chord, and then it goes to B sus4, which is like a full B bar chord, one, but you're letting the top two strings ring open. Very rush sounding. So there's a pattern of you're striking the first string and the third string and then the fourth string. And then the next bar, there's a pattern where you do need to put the bar on. So you're kind of going. So you're putting the bar down on the. So that's what happens on the B, and it happens twice in a row. It's like. Back to the E. Take it up to speed. Really fun. So So after you've done that section twice, it just gets kind of, it repeats the B pattern 4 times with a little more with shots, like, oh no, it's, and then boom, right back into the third page, which is a third version of the, or a fourth version of the intro, which is just short. And then you do the B ending, and then right into a straight repeat of the first verse. But then the tail gets repeated twice. I should mention something that you can do, like on the A of this thing. Like Getty plays a little walk up on the bass that goes 0, 2, 3. I blew it. Kind of reminiscent of Limelight. It has that in there somewhere. I forget how it goes, but you can put that little walk up. I'll write that in the score. Anyway, then you get to the final chorus, which is a double chorus. And it's the same as the first chorus, but there's a little extra ending in there to make the repeat make sense. So you play through it, just between us. Oh, na, 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 rest to recognize, na, 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 and instead of going, instead of doing that, it's like, it goes to D sus4, which is like a D with the 4th finger on the 3rd fret. Just between, and then it just repeats the first line again. So it's not really actually a full double chorus. It's like a chorus and a half. So it's a slightly longer chorus with a little turnaround thing that goes just between us. So I'll play the full last chorus for you. Just between us.